Stop wasting your life, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today with a message that is urgent. Urgent because time is slipping through our fingers like grains of sand. Every breath you take is a gift. Every heartbeat is a reminder that you are still here for a purpose. But let me ask you, what are you doing with the life you have been given? So many today are living wasted lives. They chase after pleasure, success, and comfort, yet inside, they feel empty. They fill their days with distractions, entertainment, and meaningless pursuits, hoping to find satisfaction, but in the quiet moments they know something is missing. They are alive, but they are not truly living. Life is too short to waste. Every moment is a moment you will never get back. The question is, are you spending your days on things that truly matter, or are you running after things that will one day fade away? Some of you have dreams, but fear has kept you from stepping out. Some of you know what is right, but you've been delaying, saying, "Tomorrow I'll start." But what if tomorrow never comes? What if today is your last opportunity to live with meaning? I urge you, wake up. Stop living like you have all the time in the world. Stop settling for mediocrity when you were created for greatness. Stop living in the past, chained to regrets and mistakes. Your past does not define your future. This world is full of people who need hope. There are lives you are meant to touch, people you are meant to encourage, purposes you are meant to fulfill. But you must decide, will you waste your life, or will you use it for something eternal, something that will outlive you? The clock is ticking, the years are passing, and one day you will stand at the end of your journey and look back. But will you see, a life well lived or a life wasted? The choice is in your hands. But I urge you, don't wait another day. Make the decision now. Live with purpose. Live with passion. Live for what truly matters. The time is now. Stop wasting your life. Time is slipping away. Don't waste it. Every second that passes is a second that will never return. From the moment we are born, the clock of our lives starts ticking, moving forward without pause, without hesitation. Time does not slow down for anyone. It does not stop to let us catch our breath. It moves forward with relentless certainty. And yet, how often do we live as if we have all the time in the world? How often do we push aside the things that matter, thinking we can return to them later? People go through life believing they have an endless supply of days, but the truth is, no one knows how much time they have left. Some live to see old age, while others are gone before they have the chance to truly live. The days turn into weeks, the weeks into months, and the months into years. Before we realize it, entire decades have passed. People wake up one day wondering where the time went, wondering how they allowed so much of it to slip through their fingers. Many waste time on things that have no lasting value. They spend hours scrolling through their phones, lost in endless distractions. They chase after entertainment, pouring their energy into things that bring momentary pleasure but leave them feeling empty. They delay their dreams, waiting for the perfect time, as if time itself will wait for them. But time does not wait. It moves forward, indifferent to our excuses. Opportunities come and go, doors open, but if we hesitate, they close just as quickly. How many people look back on their lives filled with regret, wishing they had seized the moments they let pass? They wish they had spoken the words they left unspoken, taken the chances they were too afraid to take, pursued the passions they ignored. They wish they had spent more time with loved ones instead of being consumed by trivial matters. But wishing does not bring back time. Regret cannot undo the past. There are people who spend their lives simply existing rather than truly living. They wake up, go through the motions of the day, and repeat the cycle endlessly. They convince themselves that they will start living tomorrow. Tomorrow, they will work on their dreams. Tomorrow, they will fix their relationships. Tomorrow, they will become the person they were meant to be. But tomorrow is never guaranteed. And for many, tomorrow never comes. Some live with the illusion that youth will last forever. They think they have years ahead of them, plenty of time to waste. But youth fades, strength weakens, energy diminishes. The things that once seemed so easy become difficult. The body grows older, and suddenly the time that once seemed endless begins to feel very limited. The opportunities they ignored in their youth are now out of reach. The people they thought would always be there are now gone. Time has moved forward and they can do nothing to get it back. Procrastination is one of the greatest thieves of life. People put off what they know they should do, thinking they will get to it later. They delay taking action on their dreams. They delay reconciling broken relationships. They delay making the changes they know are necessary. They tell themselves there will be more time, but in the end, they realize they have wasted years doing nothing. They look back and wonder what could have been if only they had started sooner. Every second that passes is an opportunity either used or wasted. Time is the most valuable resource a person has because once it is gone, it can never be recovered. Money can be regained, possessions can be replaced, but time is lost forever. Yet, people often treat time as if it is unlimited, spending it carelessly on things that do not matter. They allow distractions to consume them rather than focusing on what is truly important. They waste time holding grudges, worrying about things beyond their control, chasing approval from people who do not care. Some spend their days consumed by the past, dwelling on mistakes and failures, unable to move forward. Others are so anxious about the future that they forget to live in the present. But life is happening now. The only moment that is guaranteed is the one we are in right now. The past cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain, but the present is a gift that should not be taken for granted. There are people who waste years of their lives trapped in cycles of bad habits, never realizing how much time is slipping away. They tell themselves they will change one day, but one day turns into years. They let fear hold them back from becoming who they were meant to be. They let doubt keep them from stepping into the life they were called to live. And all the while, time continues to move forward, slipping through their hands like sand. People often fail to understand the true value of time until they have little of it left. Those nearing the end of their lives often say they wish they had done things differently. They wish they had loved more, given more, taken more risks. They wish they had not wasted so much time on things that did not matter, but by then it is too late to go back and change the past. All they can do is look back and reflect on the choices they made. The reality is that no one is promised a long life. No one is guaranteed the opportunity to grow old. People make plans for the future, assuming they will have the time to see them through. They assume they will have the chance to say the things they left unsaid. But life is unpredictable. People are here one day and gone the next. Accidents happen. Sickness comes without warning. Time runs out when we least expect it. Many people are living as if they will never die. They put off the important things, thinking they will always have another chance. But one day time will run out. One day they will look back on their lives and see either a life well spent or a life wasted. They will see either a life filled with purpose or one filled with regret. The time to wake up is now. The time to stop wasting life is now. The time to live with urgency, with passion, with intention is now. Chasing temporary pleasures leads to emptiness. People spend their lives in pursuit of things they believe will bring them happiness, fulfillment, and satisfaction. They chase after wealth, fame, entertainment, and material success, thinking that once they obtain these things, they will finally feel complete. They run from one pleasure to the next, always searching, always reaching, always striving for something more. But no matter how much they acquire, no matter how much they achieve, there remains a deep void inside them that nothing in this world can seem to fill. The pursuit of temporary pleasure is an endless cycle, a hunger that is never truly satisfied. Many believe that if they could just have a little more, they would finally be content. If they could make more money, buy a bigger house, drive a nicer car, wear designer clothes, or travel the world, then they would feel successful. But time and time again, people reach these goals only to find that the happiness they expected to feel is fleeting. The excitement of buying something new fades quickly. The thrill of achieving a goal lasts for a short while before they find themselves searching for the next thing to chase. The void inside them remains. They thought success would fill it, but it didn't. They thought money would bring them peace, but it didn't. They thought pleasure would bring them lasting joy, but it only left them wanting more. Pleasure promises fulfillment, but it never truly delivers. It offers a temporary escape, a momentary high, a fleeting sense of excitement, but it does not last. People go from one thrill to the next, hoping that the next experience, the next indulgence, the next rush of excitement will be the one that finally satisfies them. But it never does. It is like drinking salt water to quench thirst. The more they consume, the thirstier they become. The more they indulge, the emptier they feel. What once excited them loses its thrill, and they must seek greater and greater pleasures to fill the growing void. But no matter how much they chase, they always find themselves back where they started, empty, restless, and unfulfilled. Some turn to entertainment as a way to fill the emptiness inside them. They binge-watch shows, play video games for hours, scroll endlessly through social media, always looking for something to entertain them, to distract them from the deeper questions in life. But no matter how many movies they watch, no matter how many likes they receive, the sense of fulfillment they crave continues to elude them. The moment the screen turns off, the emptiness returns. They laugh at jokes, they get lost in fictional worlds, but when the distraction fades, they are left with the same lingering feeling that something is missing. Others turn to relationships, thinking that another person can fill the void in their heart. They look for love, for companionship, for validation from others, believing that if they could just find the right person, then they would be happy. But over and over again, they realize that no human being can provide the deep fulfillment they are searching for. People disappoint. Relationships fail. The initial excitement of love fades, and if their happiness is dependent on another person, they are left feeling more alone than ever. They thought love would complete them, but instead they find that even in a crowd, they can still feel empty. There are those who chase after power, influence, and recognition. They want to be admired, respected, praised. They seek validation in the applause of others, believing that if they can achieve a certain level of success, then they will finally feel like they matter. They climb the corporate ladder, they work tirelessly to build a name for themselves, they do everything they can to be noticed, and yet how many successful people reach the pinnacle of their careers, only to find that they are still unsatisfied? How many celebrities, despite having millions of fans, still struggle with loneliness and depression? How many wealthy individuals, despite having everything money can buy, still feel like something is missing? The world tells people that success is the key to happiness, but history has shown that even those who have gained everything the world has to offer still wrestle with emptiness. Some chase after physical pleasures, indulging in substances, food, or any form of gratification that can numb their deeper longings. They drink to escape reality, they eat to find comfort, they seek thrill after thrill, hoping that pleasure will fill the void inside them. But pleasure is temporary. The moment the high fades, the emptiness returns. The moment the experience is over, they are left feeling worse than before. And so they chase after the next fix, the next thrill, always searching, always longing, never truly satisfied. The tragedy of chasing temporary pleasure is that it keeps people distracted from the things that truly matter. It keeps them occupied, entertained, and busy, but it never leads to lasting joy. It blinds them to the deeper purpose of life. It numbs them to the reality that no amount of earthly pleasure can fill the void that exists in every human heart. It tricks them into believing that they are happy, while in reality, they are simply avoiding the deeper questions they are too afraid. The world is full of people who are restless, constantly searching, constantly moving from one thing to the next, hoping that the next big achievement, the next purchase, the next experience will finally bring them peace. But peace does not come from things. Fulfillment does not come from pleasure. Lasting joy is not found in the temporary highs of life. People try to fill their emptiness with everything the world offers, but nothing truly satisfies. The pursuit of pleasure, success, and material gain is like chasing the wind. No matter how hard one runs, it can never be caught. True fulfillment cannot be found in things that fade. Money, fame, and pleasure are all temporary. They come and go. They rise and fall. They promise happiness, but they never last. And yet people continue to chase after them, believing that maybe this time it will be different. Maybe this time they will finally feel whole. But no matter how much they gain, the longing inside them remains. The search for meaning continues. The hunger for something greater never fades. They have everything the world says they need to be happy, and yet they still feel empty. There are people who have reached the end of their lives with everything they ever wanted, only to realize that none of it truly mattered. They spent their years chasing pleasure, chasing success, chasing things that in the end left them feeling hollow. They look back with regret, knowing they wasted their time on things that had no lasting value. They pursued things that gave them momentary happiness but left them with nothing of substance. They gained the world but lost themselves in the process. Pleasure is fleeting. It comes and goes like the changing of seasons. The things people once enjoyed no longer bring them the same excitement. The things they once thought would make them happy turn out to be empty promises. The world tells people that the key to happiness is to chase after their desires, to indulge in whatever makes them feel good in the moment. But the truth is, chasing temporary pleasures only leads to more longing, more searching, more emptiness. The more people run after these things, the more they realize that nothing in this world can ever truly satisfy them. Living without purpose leads to regret. Many people go through life without ever stopping to ask themselves why they are here. They wake up, go to work, come home, and repeat the same routine day after day, never truly considering whether their lives have meaning beyond mere existence. They follow the path that society has laid out for them, believing that if they go to school, get a job, make money, and retire comfortably, they will have lived a successful life. But deep inside, there is a longing for something more. There is a voice that whispers in the quiet moments, asking if this is all there is. They try to drown it out with distractions, with entertainment, with busyness, but the question remains, what is the purpose of my life? People waste years pursuing things that will not matter in the end. They chase after careers that leave them feeling unfulfilled. They spend their energy building wealth, but no amount of money can buy peace. They live for the approval of others, but no matter how much praise they receive, it never feels like enough. They seek happiness in temporary pleasures, but those pleasures fade. They spend their days consumed with things that seem urgent but have no lasting significance. And then one day they wake up and realize they have spent their lives climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. There are those who spend their entire lives trying to fit in, conforming to the expectations of others instead of discovering their true calling. They live according to what their parents want, what their friends expect, what society pressures them to be. They never take the time to ask themselves what truly matters, what they were created to do, what brings meaning beyond the superficial. They fear stepping outside the lines, afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of what others might think. And so they settle for a life of mediocrity, a life that is comfortable but empty. Some people drift through life without direction, always waiting for something to change, always hoping that purpose will find them instead of seeking it out. They let time slip through their fingers, telling themselves they will figure things out later. But later turns into years, and years turn into a lifetime of missed opportunities. They look back and wonder where the time went, realizing too late that they never truly lived with intention. They let fear keep them from pursuing their dreams. They let doubt convince them they weren't good enough. They let procrastination steal their potential. Others waste their lives chasing the wrong things. They believe success is measured by status, by possessions, by achievements. They think that if they can just reach the next milestone, then they will feel fulfilled. But fulfillment never comes from external achievements. It does not come from a bigger paycheck, a nicer house, or a more impressive title. It comes from knowing that life is being lived for something greater than personal gain. It comes from investing in things that have eternal value. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry. Many people reach the end of their lives not regretting the things they did, but regretting the things they didn't do. They regret the risks they never took, the dreams they never pursued, the time they wasted on things that did not matter. They regret the relationships they neglected, the love they failed to show, the people they could have helped but didn't. They look back and realize they spent so much time focused on the wrong things, and now there is no way to go back and change it. People often think they have more time than they do. They assume they will always have another year, another decade, another chance to figure things out. They assume they can wait to make a difference, to live with purpose, to start doing what they know they were meant to do. But time does not wait. Opportunities do not last forever. The window to make an impact eventually closes. The chance to do what truly matters does not remain open indefinitely, and when people finally realize this, it is often too late. There are those who spend their whole lives accumulating wealth, believing that financial success will bring them meaning. They work long hours, sacrificing their health, their families, their relationships, all in the pursuit of money. But no amount of money can buy back time. No amount of success can erase the regret of a life that was spent on things that do not matter. In the end, when people look back, they will not care about how much money they made. They will care about the moments they missed, the love they failed to give, the impact they never made. Some people waste their lives living in the past, dwelling on mistakes and failures, unable to move forward. They let guilt and shame keep them trapped in a cycle of regret, never realizing that each day is a new opportunity to change. They convince themselves that they have wasted too much time, that it is too late to start living with purpose. But the only true waste of life is refusing to change when the opportunity is still there. Every day is a chance to turn things around, to refocus on what truly matters, to start living with intention instead of passivity. Others waste their lives worrying about the future, always afraid of what might happen, always focused on things beyond their control. They spend years chasing security, trying to plan for every possible scenario, trying to eliminate every risk. But in the process, they forget to actually live. They forget to be present in the moment, to enjoy the people around them, to embrace the opportunities in front of them. They are so consumed with the unknown that they miss what is right in front of them, and by the time they realize it, the moment has passed and they can never get it back. There are people who think they will find purpose once they reach a certain stage of life. They believe they will start living with meaning once they graduate, once they get a good job, once they get married, once they retire. But purpose is not something that happens in the future. It is something that must be embraced now. Waiting for the perfect time is just another way to waste life. There will always be obstacles, always be uncertainties, always be reasons to delay. But purpose is found in action, in making the most of today, in living with intentionality instead of waiting for the right circumstance. Some people convince themselves that they are too small to make a difference, that their lives do not matter in the grand scheme of things. They believe that purpose is for great leaders, for successful entrepreneurs, for extraordinary individuals. But every person has a purpose. Every life has value. Every individual has something to contribute. The greatest tragedy is not a lack of ability, but a lack of willingness to step into the calling placed upon each person's life. The world is full of people who had potential but never acted on it, people who had dreams but never pursued them, people who had opportunities but never took them. Regret does not come from failing. It comes from never trying. It comes from looking back and realizing that life was spent on things that had no lasting significance. It comes from knowing that there was more to give, more to experience, more to become, but fear, doubt, and distraction kept it from happening. The weight of regret is heavier than the weight of failure. The pain of a wasted life is greater than the pain of taking risks and falling short. Ignoring what truly matters leads to destruction. People go through life focusing on things that will not last, chasing after success, wealth, and temporary pleasures, while neglecting the things that hold real value. They invest their time, energy, and resources into things that seem urgent but have no eternal significance. They become consumed with their careers, obsessed with their social status, and preoccupied with the pursuit of comfort and entertainment. They ignore the deeper questions of life, pushing them aside in favor of what feels good in the moment. But neglecting what truly matters does not just lead to emptiness, it leads to destruction. When people ignore the things that truly matter, their relationships suffer. They prioritize work over family, ambition over love, and success over connection. They justify their choices by saying they are working hard to provide for their loved ones, but in the process they lose what is most important. Marriages fall apart because spouses no longer make time for each other. Parents wake up one day and realize their children have grown up without them. Friendships fade because no effort was made to nurture them. Time passes, and when people finally realize what they have neglected, it is often too late to fix what has been broken. Neglecting what matters also leads to the erosion of personal character. When people focus solely on achieving their own desires, they compromise their integrity. They justify small lies, thinking they do no harm. They cut corners, believing it is necessary for success. They make compromises, telling themselves they will make things right later. But over time, these small choices shape who they become. A person who repeatedly ignores what is right eventually loses sight of it altogether. They deceive themselves into thinking that morality is flexible, that truth is subjective, that consequences can always be avoided. But character is not built in a moment. It is shaped by the choices made every day. And when people continually ignore what truly matters, they find themselves becoming someone they never intended to be. Ignoring what truly matters leads to a life of regret. People convince themselves that they have all the time in the world to make things right, to change their ways, to focus on what is important. But time is fleeting, the years pass quickly, and opportunities slip away. People tell themselves they will spend more time with their loved ones later, that they will make amends with those they have hurt someday, that they will start living differently when the time is right. But later never comes. The window of opportunity eventually closes and they are left with nothing but the weight of their own regrets. They look back and see all the moments they took for granted, all the relationships they let wither, all the chances they ignored, and they realize too late that they wasted what mattered most. There are people who spend their lives accumulating wealth, believing that financial security will bring them happiness. They work tirelessly, sacrificing their health and their relationships in pursuit of financial success. They tell themselves that once they reach a certain level of wealth, then they will be able to relax, to focus on the things that truly matter. But wealth is a deceptive goal. The more people have, the more they want. There is always a bigger house, a better car, a higher level of success to chase. And so they keep running, never realizing that their pursuit of money has cost them everything that truly matters. They may gain the world, but they lose their peace, their joy, and their purpose. Some ignore what truly matters because they are consumed by entertainment and distractions. They spend hours scrolling through social media, watching television, playing video games, and engaging in mindless activities that provide temporary amusement but no lasting fulfillment. They distract themselves from the deeper issues in life, numbing their minds with constant stimulation. They tell themselves that they are simply relaxing, that they deserve a break, that there is nothing wrong with a little entertainment. But over time, distraction becomes a way of life. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and they look back to realize they have wasted their lives on things that did nothing to nourish their soul, develop their character, or impact the world around them. Neglecting what truly matters can also lead to physical and emotional destruction. People disregard their health, assuming their bodies will always be strong. They ignore the warning signs, pushing themselves too hard, eating poorly, neglecting rest. They justify unhealthy habits, thinking they will deal with the consequences later. But the human body is not invincible. Poor choices catch up with people, and by the time they realize it, their health is in ruins. The same is true for emotional well-being. When people ignore their mental and emotional health, refusing to deal with stress, trauma, and burdens, they eventually break under the weight of it all. Anxiety, depression, and exhaustion take over. They find themselves overwhelmed, unable to cope, trapped in a cycle of emotional turmoil that could have been avoided if they had paid attention to what truly matters. Ignoring what truly matters leads to a life without direction. People wander aimlessly, unsure of their purpose, unclear on what they should be doing. They wake up each day and go through the motions, but they lack true fulfillment. They feel lost, as if they are simply existing rather than truly living. They seek meaning in all the wrong places, trying to find satisfaction in things that will never fulfill them. They chase success, pleasure, approval, and comfort, believing these things will bring them happiness, but deep inside they know something is missing. There is an ache in their soul, a sense of emptiness that nothing in this world can fill. And the more they ignore it, the more lost they become. Some people ignore what truly matters because they are afraid of change. They know they need to live differently, to make better choices, to prioritize what is truly important. But change is difficult. It requires stepping outside of comfort zones, breaking free from destructive habits, letting go of things that provide temporary pleasure but long-term harm. It requires admitting past mistakes, taking responsibility, and making hard decisions. And so they avoid it. They tell themselves they will change someday, that they will get their lives in order later, but later never comes, and the longer they delay, the harder it becomes to turn things around. Ignoring what truly matters leads to broken relationships, lost opportunities, and wasted years. It causes people to wake up one day and realize they no longer recognize themselves. It leads to a slow erosion of values, priorities, and identity. It causes people to settle for a life that is far less than what it could have been. And the saddest part is that many do not realize the damage they are doing until it is too late. They think they are just living their lives, pursuing what makes them happy, doing what feels right in the moment. But little by little, the foundation of their life crumbles. And when they finally see the truth, they are left picking up the broken pieces. Ignoring what truly matters is one of the greatest mistakes a person can make. It leads to a life of regret, a life spent on things that do not last, a life that, in the end, leaves nothing of true value behind. When people focus on the wrong things, they lose sight of what is most important. They allow distractions, desires, and temporary pursuits to take precedence over the things that have lasting significance. They deceive themselves into thinking they have all the time in the world to change, to shift their focus, to start living differently. But time moves forward, and every moment spent ignoring what truly matters is a moment that can never be regained. You still have time to change. Every person reaches a moment in life when they look back and wonder if they have been heading in the right direction. They reflect on the choices they have made, the opportunities they have missed, and the time they have wasted. Regret begins to creep in, whispering that it is too late to turn things around, that too much damage has been done, that the chance to live differently has already passed. But these are lies that keep people trapped in cycles of inaction and despair. The truth is, as long as there is breath in your lungs, there is still time to change. Many believe that because they have spent years making mistakes, they are beyond hope. They assume that the bad decisions they made in the past have set them on an unchangeable path. They think that because they have wasted so much time, there is no point in trying to do better now. But time is not gone. It is still moving forward. It is not about what has already been lost. It is about what can still be gained. The past cannot be rewritten, but the future remains unwritten. Every person has the ability to make a new decision today that will alter the course of their life forever. Some people believe change is too difficult. They have spent years developing habits that are hard to break. They have surrounded themselves with people who do not encourage growth. They have convinced themselves that they are too weak, too old, too stuck in their ways to make a difference now. But change is not an overnight process. It is a series of small steps in the right direction. No matter how deeply ingrained a habit may be, no matter how long a person has walked down the wrong path, there is always an opportunity to turn around. Even the most broken life can be rebuilt when a person makes the choice to start again. Fear is what keeps many from changing. They fear failure, afraid that if they try, they will not succeed. They fear judgment, worried about what others will think if they suddenly decide to live differently. They fear the unknown, uncertain about where change will lead them. Fear is a powerful force, but it is not stronger than the will to live a life of meaning. The greatest regret is not failing. It is never trying at all. Every person who has ever transformed their life has faced fear, but they chose to move forward anyway. They decided that a life of purpose was worth more than the comfort of staying the same. Excuses are easy to make. People tell themselves they will change when they have more time, when life is less stressful, when the conditions are just right. They convince themselves that someday they will focus on what really matters, that eventually they will start living differently. But someday is not guaranteed. Waiting for the perfect time is just another way to stay stuck in the same patterns. The best time to change is not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything falls into place. The best time is now. There are those who have spent their lives chasing wealth, only to realize that money has not brought them the happiness they thought it would. They have sacrificed relationships, health, and peace of mind in pursuit of financial success. But even if years have been spent pursuing the wrong things, it is never too late to shift priorities. No amount of money can buy back time, but time can still be used to create something meaningful. A life once spent on empty pursuits can become a life filled with purpose when a person decides to use what they have left to make a difference. Some people carry the weight of past mistakes, believing that they have failed too many times to ever truly change. They have hurt others, made poor decisions, and walked down paths that led to destruction. They assume they are beyond redemption, that they do not deserve another chance. But no one is too far gone. The past may have shaped a person, but it does not have to define them. Mistakes are not the end. They are lessons that can lead to a better future. The most powerful stories are those of people who rose from failure, who took their brokenness and used it to help others, who refused to let their past determine their destiny. Comparison often keeps people from believing they can change. They look at others who seem to have it all together, who seem to have figured out their purpose long ago, and they feel like they are too far behind. They convince themselves that because they did not start earlier, there is no point in starting now, but every person is on their own journey. It does not matter how late a person starts. It only matters that they do not quit. Some of the greatest achievements in history have come from people who did not discover their true purpose until later in life. The impact a person can make is not determined by how early they begin, but by how committed they are to living with purpose once they do. There are people who feel stuck in toxic environments, surrounded by influences that pull them away from who they want to become. They think that because they have always been in a certain place, with certain people doing certain things, they cannot escape. But change is possible for anyone willing to step out of their comfort zone. It may require leaving behind relationships that are harmful. It may mean walking away from a lifestyle that is familiar but destructive. It may take courage and sacrifice, but the freedom that comes from choosing a different path is worth it. No one has to remain in a place that is keeping them from becoming who they were meant to be. Some people have spent their lives avoiding responsibility, blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for the way things have turned out. They have convinced themselves that they are victims of fate, that change is out of their hands. But as long as a person refuses to take ownership of their life, they will remain stuck. Change begins the moment a person accepts responsibility for where they are and makes the decision to do something different. No matter what has happened in the past, every person has the ability to choose a new future. Doubt keeps many from believing they can change. They have tried before and failed, and they do not see why this time would be any different. They do not trust themselves to follow through, to stay committed, to make lasting progress. But failure is not a reason to stop trying. Every person who has ever succeeded has faced setbacks along the way. Growth is not a straight line. It is a process of falling and getting back up, of learning from mistakes and moving forward. The only true failure is giving up. Every day is a new opportunity to try again, to take another step, to move closer to the life that was meant to be lived. Change is not easy. It requires effort, perseverance, and a willingness to step into the unknown. But the cost of staying the same is far greater. A life spent in regret, in wasted potential, and missed opportunities is far more painful than the temporary discomfort of transformation. It does not matter how many years have been lost. It does not matter how many wrong choices have been made. It does not matter how far off course a person has wandered. The chance to change is still here. The time to start is still now.